Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to talk about Halloween because we're in October. We have about 3.5 weeks left until the 31st. And I thought it would be really fun to take the opportunity to try and project, predict, and speculate on what Netmarble might release that could be Halloween themed for the end of the month's update. I know a lot of you are hoping for me to do a Thor Ragnarok prediction video based on the kind of pseudo spoiler that we got from that Korean advertisement with Hela. I'm not going to be talking about that because I don't have much faith in its validity or in the other things that it said, like Heimdall Tier 2 and stuff like that. So instead we're going to focus on Halloween, one of my favorite holidays of the year. Now, if you're not familiar, Netmarble actually does like Halloween too. In 2015, when they had the very first Halloween for Marvel Future Fight, they released 3 new characters as part of the Howling Commandos Halloween update. And we actually had a Halloween event with Halloween tokens. Drink a chocolate milk cookie pastry every time I say Halloween. In that update, we got Elsa Bloodstone with her original look. We also got Werewolf and Lash, and we also got uniforms that were kind of spooky, like Spydock for MODOK and Black Cat's Claws costume, which we now only get for Doctor Strange. But Netmarble does have a sense of humor about Halloween. More recently, at the end of October last year, 2016, we got the Doctor Strange update, which, while not Halloween themed, is a bit spooky with all of the mystic, arcane, magical things that go on and the, different dimensions that they shift into and the Dormammu eventuality. So I have hope that Netmarble will not let us down, and they will release something at the end of this month that has maybe even a little sprinkling of sugar, spice, and Halloween. So to get things going, to rev your prediction engines, because I know you guys like this kind of stuff, I've compiled a list, pretty long list, I should say myself, of potential stuff that Netmarble, new characters mostly, could put into this game at the end of the month in anticipation of, but preceding, Thor Ragnarok. I am going to list this from least likely to most likely, and I'll explain why as we go along. But I just want you to keep in mind that these are all my ideas, so if there are any that I missed, if you have any other ideas that you think are better, let me know in the comments, and I will gladly discuss with you all of these Halloween goodies because it's one of my favorite times of the year, probably my favorite holiday, so I love talking about it. First up, let's start with some of Spidey's villains. I think Hobgoblin would make an awesome addition to this game. We already have Green Goblin, and he's a super spooky villain who could help us out in the speed department, and he would also go so cool and so hand in hand with Green Goblin. Additionally, I thought of Mac Gargan as Scorpion. I think he would be a really cool addition to this game. He's not very Halloween themed, but he does fit in with the kind of Spidey's Rogues Gallery type update. Why I think this is very unlikely is because it hasn't been that long since we got a Spidey's Rogue Gallery update with the Sinister Six, so I don't really see how they'd fit these 2 new characters in, but it's still cool to hope for someone like Hobgoblin to be in this game. Next up, we have probably one of the most requested groups of characters to be added. We were hoping for something in May and June and July and August for a while now, but we haven't seen a symbiote update, a Venomverse update in the game, and I think Halloween is the perfect time, if not the Venomverse time, to do it. We would see characters like Toxin, Scream, Hybrid, Phage, Scorn, Mania. There's so many different symbiotes to choose from. They could choose maybe the most popular 5 or the ones that they could animate the best and kind of showcase the best, but I would really hope to see Hybrid in there to balance out the supervillains and superheroes, but it would be a supervillain centric update, and it would be pretty cool to see Venom and Carnage and Anti-Venom and Space Knight Venom get some additional, team up bonuses and players to compete with. Next up, that's a little bit more likely on the scale of least likely to most likely, is more mutants, more X-Men to, kneel or rebel against Apocalypse. And there are quite a few mutants that fit the bill for a kind of spooky Halloween themed update. Of course, we have Nightcrawler, one of a fan favorite characters. He basically looks like a cosplay character. He looks like someone who's dressed up as some kind of demon, and we kind of know why if you look at his lineage, his mom and dad. But he would be a really cool addition. Also, Toad would be awesome in this game and would definitely fit the Halloween theme. Magic as well would fit this definitely. In addition, they could do a New Mutants themed update, which is quite Halloween centric. They could have Cannonball, Karma, Wolfsbane, Mirage, and Sunspot, which would be pretty cool. A little bit more likely on the list, shifting over now to another group of heroes that you guys would love to see in this game, and I know a few fans in particular are going to be happy when I mention some of these names. We could get the Legion of Monsters, and that would start off with a rework slash uniform for Ghost Rider, because he's kind of the titular hero or the most popular hero from that group. But we would also see the likes of Morbius added to the game, which would be awesome. He also kind of fits as a Spidey villain. And we could also see Man-Thing added to the game. He's like Swamp Thing from DC, but not as good, I think. Some of the other characters from Legion of Monsters, I don't see them, you know, Werewolf at Midnight and stuff like that. I don't see them being added to the game. They're too obscure, but I think at least those three could definitely make a splash in this game. Jumpboarding off of the Ghost Rider suggestion, I think there are a lot of awesome characters, both heroes and villains, attached or associated with Ghost Rider that would make for an awesome Ghost Rider themed update. And I think if you're gonna go with Ghost Rider, you got to start with one of his biggest enemies, Mephisto. And I think Mephisto would be very cool because he was just added in Contest of Champions, so it would make sense that we also get that character. It would kind of be showing some cross love, and I would love to see Mephisto, although we already have a fire meta in the game, a little bit more wouldn't hurt. This is the only time where I'm going to mention Doctor Doom, because I know Mephisto has fought him in at least one run on Halloween several times. So all you Doctor Doom Fantastic Four fans, here is your moment. Enjoy it. Moving on. In addition to Mephisto, you can't have him without his children, so Blackheart and Mephisto would potentially be part of that update, which would be very cool. Blackheart, of course, most famous for his run in Marvel vs. Capcom. We now have the new Marvel vs. Capcom game, so I'm starting to think that this is a pretty awesome idea for an update. Bill Roseman, hit me up, bro. Got some good ideas for you. In addition, Mephisto has relationships already to Baron Mordo and Doctor Strange in some of the comic runs where she's dealt with some of them, so it would have some connection and they could make a storyline out of that potentially. Then springboarding off of Doctor Strange, I've wanted this character in the game for a while, Dr. Voodoo. Also in Contest of Champions, I think he would make a wonderful Halloween character. Definitely has that kind of spooky vibe about him, and he would make a fantastic kind of maybe native tier 2 counter to Doctor Strange, or the second coming of Doctor Strange on the anniversary of Doctor Strange's update. I think the parallels that you could draw between those two updates would be amazing, and I would love it if that was like our new epic quest to unlock Dr. Voodoo. Brother Voodoo at first maybe, and then he turns into Dr. Voodoo. Anyways, finding the Eye of Agamotto. I would love that. Seriously, Netmarble will call me. Also, lastly, I want to slip in the Hood, because he has been possessed or kind of controlled by Dormammu, and he has battled Doctor Strange and Brother Voodoo and all of those characters, Hellstorm and stuff like that. He has a lot of connections to Satana, so it would be very cool to kind of draw in all of those characters from last year's update, which was the Doctor Strange update, and then connect them to this year's update with all of these related characters, heroes and villains. I think it would be fantastic. This is probably the idea that I love the most, but let me know what you think of it. And then finally, we have the Memesters Halloween, and here's where we kind of get into the more hokey characters that I doubt we will see, but we could get Howard the Duck. Yes, we could get Howard the Duck. That is a possibility, however far-fetched. We could also get Taskmaster. Been a meme in this game for so long that we see Taskmaster every time Battle World opens, but we can never play as him. He's got a skull face. He's kind of Halloween-y, I guess. In addition to that, we could also see Nick Fury and Maria Hill springboarding off of the Taskmaster joke. Why not just add Jocasta while we're at it? Finally, I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention that a Halloween update would not be complete or would not be fulfilling in my eyes if it didn't also include character rebalancing. I think if Netmarble is going to give this update even the smallest hint of a Halloween theme, they need to show some love to existing characters. Yes, Netmarble has fallen off the bandwagon recently in terms of rebalancing updates. They've missed 3 or 4 opportunities now to rebalance characters, and the list of characters who need rebalancing is just growing longer and larger by the update, by the minute. So I think it would be a fantastic time to rework characters like Blade. Give him a new uniform, just rework the base kit. He needs some love, and he's a vampire slayer, baby. Werewolf. definitely needs some love. Venom needs some love. I know there's the Anti-Venom uniform, but the base kit and the Secret Wars uniform are definitely hurting for an update. Ghost Rider also, the original Ghost Rider, could use some tuning up to be more in line with Robbie Reyes. If not with the uniform, then just with regular base stat improvements. Additionally, Green Goblin and his uniform, similar to the Hobgoblin kind of reference. I think that the Green Menace deserves a little bit more punch than he has. He definitely pales in comparison to most of the Sinister Six at this point, which doesn't really make sense in my mind. Also, from the characters that I mentioned from the 2015 update, that was the Halloween themed one. Black Cat, all of her uniforms definitely could use some love. MODOK, all of his uniforms could use a lot of love. He's one of the worst characters in the game, and you know, he doesn't even have a champion anymore. Additionally, Punisher, this one I think is very unlikely because we're probably going to get a Punisher update or a buff around the time of the Netflix show coming out, but we have to wait and see. And finally, I would be remiss if I did not mention the name Ultron in the mention of reworks. Ultron is a character who should be far better than he is based on his weight and standing in the comics. He doesn't have much to do with Halloween as far as I can tell, but he definitely deserves reworks among the most of all characters in the game. So let me know what you think of my Halloween predictions. Let me know if you're excited for a potential spooky update or not, and which characters I missed and which characters that I mentioned that you'd love to see the most, which ideas you liked, which ideas you didn't. And if you like the content, hit the subscribe. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.